For the second successive summer, the main road tunnels through Birmingham city centre closed tonight for 6 weeks for what's been described as essential repairs. Drivers are being urged to leave their cars at home and find other ways of getting into town. Well, our transport correspondent Peter Plisner joins us now from the city centre. Such a busy route, Peter. How are people going to cope?
Well, around 85,000 vehicles pass this point every day. It's an important part of Birmingham's road network, hence the reason the City Council is spending so much upgrading the tunnel. But how bad can things get without the tunnels? Hopefully not too bad, bearing in mind that we did survive a similar event this time last year. It wasn't quite the chaos that many had predicted, but last year's tunnel closures did mean delays and diversions. Roads closest to the tunnels saw the worst of the jams. Further away, traffic levels, no doubt helped by the school holidays, were no higher than normal. This year, as with last year, drivers who want to avoid the queues are being urged to use public transport. Last year, more than 200,000 people did exactly that, choosing a bus or a train and leaving their cars at home.
We've got spare buses available in case there are any problems this year. We've got extra staff on the streets at the key locations where we discovered that there were problems last year.
But how concerned are the city's drivers?
I'm well prepared and probably be getting the train in from Selly Oak as I travel in from South Birmingham.
How will it affect you?
Terribly. I won't be able to drive in anymore, and my work demands that I have a car to go in and out occasionally.
And this was the scene under the streets of the city last year, with hundreds of contractors busy demolishing and upgrading the 40-year-old tunnels. Last year, lighting and fireproofing was upgraded, as well as structural work. This year, they'll be installing a variety of new equipment, including 25 modern fans for ventilation, 21 new CCTV cameras, 48 emergency telephones, and 4 new electronic message signs. Some of the work has already been done. This was the scene earlier this week when the tunnels were closed during the night.
These guys are actually installing a huge amount of electrical and mechanical equipment, which will take over 40 miles of electrical cabling to actually wire it all up. And that's tens of thousands of electrical connections to do.
With the main artery through Birmingham closed once again, it'll be up to operators in the city's main traffic control room to keep an eye on things. Here they can turn traffic lights to green at the touch of a button to reduce the queues. Well, joining me on the bridge above the A38 is Kevin Hicks from Birmingham City Council. Kevin, tell me, things went okay last year. How can you be so sure the same will happen this year?
Well, I think we're very much reliant on the public doing what they did last year, which is look at the public transport offer that's out there, use means other than the car to come into the city, and if you do have to come into the city with car, use an alternative route other than the A38.
But isn't there a risk of complacency, people realising that actually it isn't too bad and they will use their cars as last year?
I think there is, and that's the reason why I say we've tried to improve some things this year in terms of the offer that's available for public transport, and we've kept up with the message out to the public to do what they did last year. It is reliant on people doing that again.
So what's different this year? What lessons have you learned from last year?
We learned an awful lot about how the traffic moves around the city last year, and some of those things we kept in over the year, such as some traffic signals that we put in. We learned about how they've changed over the year, and we've improved them for this summer's closure as well.
The obvious question is, why do we have to have a 6-week closure? Why can't you do it on, say, overnight closures or successive weekends?
Yeah. Well, there's an awful lot of work to do in the tunnel, as there was last year. This year it's about putting new cameras in, detection equipment for when there's an incident in the tunnel so we can manage it better. So that's all got to go in. It's easier and quicker if we do it in the one hit rather than do it over many, many hundreds of nights.
Kevin, many thanks. Well, the tunnels will close tonight at 10 p.m, I should say, and they will open at 6 p.m. on 1st of September, Monday the 1st of September.
We have been warned. Peter, thank you. And for all the very latest travel news and guidance as far as Birmingham's concerned throughout the weekend, tune in to BBC WM 95.6.